All right, well, hello there. This is a 7th grade social studies video that I wanted to make before you take 9.3 quiz. So if you already tried to start taking the quiz, stop and watch this video first, okay? Just want to go over a few things with you. We really haven't talked social studies since we stopped school a couple weeks ago, so no really way for us to talk right now, so you get a video, all right? All right, so here we go. Section 3, and it's about China, and talking about China today. And I keep looking down. I'm looking down at my book. I'm on page 444. So if you happen to have your book handy, that's great. If not, you can just kind of hang out with me. You might know some of the answers. I'm going to ask some questions, and I want you to think about it and see if you can get those before I tell you the answers. Maybe. I'm looking at vocabulary as well. So remember what we usually do is we go over all the vocabulary and see if you guys have any questions. Well, we can't really do that. But if you ever have any questions, please email me. If you have your own email address and you want me to send information to that, or when I email your parents, if you want me to include your email address, send that email address to Mr. Memmer, dmemmer at evdio.org, and he'll put you on Sycamore, and that way when I send out the emails, it'll also go to you when I send out these assignments. So maybe kind of skip the middleman. Your mom and dad don't have to tell you exactly what to do. You guys in 7th grade, you should be able to do that, right? All right, so China today. Well, I'm on page 444, and the first thing you see is a little picture at the very bottom of the page, and it says, talks about Tiananmen Square. And I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not. I'm also going to give you a link to a video about Tiananmen Square. It's probably like a 2-minute video, and it shows what actually happened that day in Tiananmen Square. There was rioting going on and things like that because the Chinese people were tired of being held down. They were tired of being told what to do. Because remember, China is a communist country, and these people were wanting more democracy, especially like the young people, college-age students, and people like that. They were wanting more democracy, wanting more freedom, and the Chinese government wasn't giving it. So they began to protest and do things. Well, they were doing all these protests in Tiananmen Square, and you can see what happens when you see that video, that the government sent in the military. All right, I'm going to stop talking about that, let you see. But there was one brave Chinese person there, and you can see it in the picture on page 444. But also watch my linked video, okay? And by the way, stay tuned at the very end of the video. I'm going to let you meet my buddy. He's been a buddy of mine for a long time, so I'll let you meet him at the end of this video, all right? Again, some of the vocabulary, again, Tiananmen Square, Asian tiger. You guys know what Asian tiger is? I'll give you a few seconds. That's right. It's Taiwan, right? And the reason why it's called the Asian tiger is because it's a neighbor of China, but its economy has been strong for a long time. And just like a tiger, really strong. So, let me see, it talks about China and Taiwan on page 447. You see the output per person in Taiwan. Taiwan makes a lot of money per person, per capita, right? Remember that per capita idea? And if you flip over and we just look at China, I'm on page 449. We just look at China, the literacy rate, life expectancy, and so on. Even in that country of China, if you go to the western part of China compared to the eastern part of China, and the big, huge difference. In the western part of China, on page 449, it says the life expectancy in some of the western areas, like Tibet, 64 years, Gansu, 67 years, not bad. Literacy rate there, Tibet, 55%. That's pretty low, isn't it? Gansu is 79%. Not too bad. But if you go to eastern China, there's a big, huge difference. Beijing, life expectancy of 76 years. It's even better, isn't it? Guangdong is 73 years. Shanghai, 78 years. But then look at the literacy rate, which is amazing. Beijing's 96%. Guangdong's 94%. Shanghai's 95%. That's in the same country. It's not the whole country. That's just the different regions, the eastern and the western part. And it's such a big difference in that literacy rate. And you guys understand what life expectancy is, how long they expect you to live. Literacy rate, we know it's the ability to read and write. And so that's important for people to be able to be literate, right? Okay. And then on page 450, it talks about the Three Gorges Dam. And really, the idea here is they built a dam. I'm not even sure what river it was, the Chang River. And the reason why they were doing this was to back up the water so they could use that for hydroelectricity, right? But the problem is that where they did this, it backed up the water, and the water, spread, and they had all kinds of like ancient, I don't know, what are they? Like writings and stuff like that. They had some ancient sites there that were tourist attractions and stuff like that. And the water actually overspread that. So now these areas are underwater. So I don't know if they didn't think about it well enough, or if they didn't care. They just needed the hydroelectricity. But it's good that they have hydroelectricity, but it was bad that they, covered up these ancient sites and so on. You see that they also had some reservoirs, and you can kind of see a picture of, it's an illustration of what actually looks like. Pretty cool if you ask me. But, hydroelectricity is a good way to try to stop, all the pollution and stuff like that, smog and things like that. And we know there's a lot of people in China, a lot of cars, there's going to be a lot of air pollution. So that's one of the ways they can stop that. And I know you guys are all for that as well. Okay, you get answer number 5. What effect does geography have on Mongolia's economic growth? And so hopefully you know how to answer that. And my book says, because Mongolia has many mineral resources, its economy has relied on producing and exporting these minerals. So hopefully you got that correct. If you have any other questions for me, you can email me before you take the quiz. Otherwise, the quiz will be on its way, and or it's already there probably. And watch the Tiananmen Square video. Again, it's only like 2 minutes. And then take the quiz, and stay tuned. At the end of this video, I'll let you meet a buddy of mine and see him and I hanging out and what we're doing. All right? So till next time, see you guys later. PJ. Sit. Sit down. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. You want to shake? Good boy. Well, this is PJ. And we've had him since he was about 6 weeks old. And that was in 2008. So he's about 12 years old. We're just out here on the back porch. PJ, want to say hi to everybody? Why don't you go bark at something, they can hear you bark.